Welcome back to my Transformers animated episode reviews. Today, we're taking a look at the Season 2 premiere episode of Transformers Animated, The Elite Guard. In this episode, the titular Elite Guard arrives on Earth, consisting of Jazz, Sentinel Prime, and the leader of the Autobots, Magnus. Picking up after the last season's finale, Megatron Rising, the Autobots are hard at work trying to repair the damage that their battle with the Decepticons has caused, which very much reminds me of the beginning of the G1 episode Countdown to Extinction, which also featured the Autobots trying to clean up the damage caused by the Decepticons in a previous multi-parter. It also seems as though the humans now fear the Autobots after all the destruction that was caused in their fight with the Decepticons.
Well, I liked it better when we were heroes.
We're still heroes, Bulkhead. We just have to remind them.
Also, isn't this the same lady who comforted Daniel in a previous episode? Glad to see that she now has her own kid. Meanwhile, at Sumdac Tower, Bumblebee and Sari are trying to hold down the fort as her father seems to be missing. And we are introduced to Porter C. Powell, who will be a thorn in our heroes' sides for the rest of the series. It is then that the Elite Guard ship arrives on Earth, and we are introduced to Sentinel Prime, Jazz, and the leader of the Autobots, Magnus.
Robots. Why did it have to be robots?
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
The Autobots are then given a decontamination shower, partially out of the other Autobots' fear of organics, but I think it's mostly just Sentinel being a jerk.
I don't think he remembers us.
And that's just how I want to keep it.
Nice. I think this is foreshadowing to the future episode, Auto Boot Camp. So the Autobots inform the Elite Guard of the events that transpired in the last couple episodes, as we transition to the Decepticons, now in their secret base of operations in that very same mine from the episode Nature Calls. Again, I'm glad that this base isn't shaped like a giant Decepticon logo. That would have been a little too conspicuous for the Decepticons in this show right now.
Two things led to our defeat in the Great Wars: the Allspark and the Autobots' exclusive space bridge technology.
Now this is interesting. In the animated universe, space bridges are an exclusively Autobot technology, whereas in G1, they were exclusively a Decepticon technology, and the Autobots would often have to borrow one from the Decepticons every time they wanted to take a quick trip to Cybertron. So Megatron claims to have partially downloaded a space bridge schematic from the Ark when he was on board it. But we didn't see Megatron do anything like that in the last episode. Perhaps a scene was cut? After all, in the previous episode, we see Megatron and Optimus outside the ship. Then it cuts to Megatron's awesome transformation sequence, and then they're suddenly inside the Ark. Maybe there was a cutscene missing in the last episode. But apparently this was the reason that Megatron kidnapped Sumdac, to reverse engineer the space bridge schematic in order to fill in the missing pieces. But that's when the helper bot malfunctions, leading to the discovery of an Allspark fragment, thus giving us the theme of this season: collecting Allspark shards like Pokemon or Minicons or something like that. Sari uses her key to slip through the Elite Guard's force field and onto their ship, where she meets up with Jazz and the other Autobots. And I must say, it's pretty cute how Jazz is afraid of a little girl.
Oh, you're afraid of me, aren't you? Booga booga booga.
By the way, Jazz in this series is played by Phil Lamar, who is a very talented voice actor who has had so many roles that I don't even know where to start, or which ones are the most notable that I should mention. So I'll just point out the one that I know him for, which is the Green Lantern in Justice League. But not only is he a top-tier voice actor, he's also done some on-camera work too. Optimus, Sentinel, and Magnus arrive on Dinobot Island, where they are confronted by the Dinobots, who Sentinel provokes. Because, of course he does, he's Sentinel. But Magnus uses his Thor hammer to scare away the Dinobots. Aww, Poor Dinobots. While battling rampaging Allspark-infused police bots at the Sumdac factory, Prowl and Jazz both show off their ninja skills to each other, hinting at a future episode where we'll see more of Prowl's cyber ninja training. Sorry, Optimus, Prowl, and Jazz sneak inside to stop the police drones at the source, while the others outside continue fighting the existing police bots.
Whoa! Now I get why they call you Ultra Magnus.
The ones inside stop the assembly line and discover another Allspark fragment. And the episode ends with Sari and Bumblebee returning to Sumdac Tower, only to find that she is no longer head of the company, and that there was no record of her birth, which, if you've seen animated before, you know why. Well, this was a pretty good episode of Transformers Animated, and a great way to start off Season 2. It expands the cast of characters beyond just the ones on Earth, and we are introduced to the Elite Guard, who will play a more important role later in the series. And, like I mentioned, it sets up the gimmick for this season, searching for and collecting the Allspark shards. Overall, a pretty good episode. What about you? What did you think of the Season 2 premiere of Transformers Animated? As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all that other fun stuff. And I'll see you next week for the next episode of Transformers Animated, The Return of the Headmaster. Already? Well, at least Sentinel gets what's coming to him in this episode. So, see you back here next week for that.